Tonight, growing fallout over the Trump administration effectively closing the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
At the Bureau, Dan Bongino didn't report for work today, and he may be on the verge of quitting altogether after openly clashing in the White House with Attorney General Pam Bondi over her handling of the case.
We start today with President Donald Trump's firm support for his embattled Attorney General Pam Bondi following the MAGA revolt over her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Okay, we need to talk. There has been so much drama going on in kind of the political world, I guess, and I don't really get too much into that with my videos, but I am very interested in the Epstein File and everything that's been going on, and I really did want to talk about that and a couple other things that do relate to it. So let's get into this video. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you definitely are up to date with the Epstein story and how he had an entire blackmailing operation, taking advantage of little girls. We don't even really know the full number. They say thousands or hundreds. The number is really up there, but it's at least hundreds, which is terrifying to even know in the first place, and which makes him out to be even more of a terrible monster, and I just hope he burns in hell. There's honestly just way too many coincidences in the case for anyone with half a brain to realize that it's more than what they're telling us. I mean, one of the victims literally said in a tweet, if anything ever happens to her, that it's not suicide, she's not suicidal, and then a couple years later, she gets hit by a bus and then dies of suicide? What? And everyone just drops it a couple weeks later? Like, how stupid do they think we are? And some of the main questions that people have on their minds right now are how Epstein made his money and who was on the client list. Most of the world doesn't believe that he killed himself, but that's what the authorities like to say and go with, especially now. He killed himself. It was plain and simple, even though the cameras didn't work in his cell. And the guards were sleeping. And he was placed into a cell with an inmate that was twice his size, a gorilla of a person who assaulted him. What? No, it was just a suicide because he just didn't want to live anymore. I don't know. I just find it fishy that for the longest time, Trump has been saying, oh, we need to get the Epstein files out. It's really weird, so fishy. We need to find out Bill Clinton, he's probably in it, you know, what the heck, what's going on? And the second he gets into power, it's like, well, you guys should really forget about it. There's nothing here. Right? Those pictures with me and Epstein, those pictures, what pictures? All right, there's no pictures of who's Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know who that is. Honestly, I think Epstein was fake. All right, you guys are the fake news, and you're making him up for publicity.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
The Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death? I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who is a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island, and I was never there. So you have to ask.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these.
Yeah.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Yeah, sure. If I
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and so a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But
His claims are just ridiculous. I don't know. They say that they have the files once they're in power and they're on Pam Bondi's desk, and then they say that they don't exist, and then they say that they do exist, but they're all made up by the Democrats and Obama, and then
Old intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
they can't release them, but then Trump's going to release the stuff that's only good for him. I don't know. The one good thing I can say about this is that Trump's base is falling apart, and people are starting to see through his lies and his bullshit.
You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. We are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history.
Biggest scam in American history.
We're not going to play with these anymore. MAGA hats are off. America First hats are on.
Pam Bondi needs to be fired. Who is rolling this out? The little rascals?
Pam Bondi has definitely made multiple inconsistent statements, and I'm sorry, but she does not deserve the benefit of my good opinion, and I'm not prepared to give it to her.
They're covering up. The DOJ, the current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes. Very serious crimes by their own description. Why are they doing that?
Is she stupid? Is she so click-thirsty that she got out over her skis trying to make news? You know, Fox News star. It's either that or she's a liar. People are absolutely not going to accept just a memo that was written that says there is no client list.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better.
Now, personally, I'd say it's a little too late, you know, with the whole bombing on Rant and, you know, everything else, but whatever. The next part I wanted to talk about is influence. The fact that in our society, no matter how much power and money and people that you know, you can pretty much get out of any situation. Take Diddy, for example. He literally was found beating someone on camera. But because the laws of statutation don't apply, because it's 5 or 6 years later, what are we talking, what?
Now we see this awful video, which is more than 8 years old, and yet Diddy has still not been charged with anything. I would think there would be grounds for his arrest in that video. Why hasn't he been charged with anything?
Well, the video is out of the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations in California for a simple assault is a year. For domestic violence assault, it was 3 years. They've moved that up to 5 years, but this is out of range for a state charge in California.
And then he can be completely fine off 3 out of the 5 counts. What? Does this make sense to you? Can you make sense to this? Because it's really not making any sense to me. I don't know. Like, yes, I get it. If you have enough money, you can buy the nicest lawyer and the best defense team and defend yourself. But, like, what? That's just not a good system, honestly. It doesn't defend the people who can't afford it. It only defends the people who can. And they know that. But they're not going to change that system ever because it positively affects the elites. And to anyone who doesn't believe this, for example, I'm going out with my boys to the bars. Just me right now. If I went to the bars, got some drinks, came home and got pulled over, I'd go to jail for DUI. But let's just say if I was the mayor of New York's son, my dad could get me out of it. And that's the type of shit that just should not be allowed. But it just goes on because it benefits the elites. And it's really just disgusting. And and shows how corrupt our society is. I don't know, these are all just kind of like shower thoughts I have, or like shower political thoughts. I don't know what the hell you call them, but whatever. I don't know. I just feel like this country is definitely going in a different direction than anyone's expecting, and there's going to be like a really big shift change or something huge is going to happen. I'm predicting it. And if it doesn't, then you guys can say I'm wrong, but I can feel it. I know a lot of other people can just feel it in their hearts and just in themselves that just something isn't right with the country and something big is going to happen. I don't know if that's a good thing, a bad thing. I'm not trying to make any threats to FBI. Don't show up at my door. I'm not implying anything. I can feel it in my gut. I feel it in my stomach. Ugh. Personally, I'm just getting really tired and worn out. Just with all the drama and craziness with the world. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired, man. If I had one thing to say to the world, it would just be that you have to just be yourself in really bad times like these. You just have to stay positive, even if it's really hard. You know, it's really dark times, honestly. And I know a lot of us can feel it, but you can't let that darkness consume you. So always try to put a smile on. Be around your friends and family, around the ones you love, and just try to be a better person. Just try to help out. That's all I can say. Anyways, it was nice talking to you guys. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a good whatever. And have a good one.